Good day, everyone. This is the part two of the summary discussion on the organ or the human organ systems. We're in the part one. I have already discussed about the first five organ systems, such as the endocrine system, again, that consists of glands which produces hormones as a chemical messengers which they perform specific functions in our body. And we have the integumentary system, which is the skin, and also it includes the hairs and the nails. And we have the third one, the reproductive system, which is divided into the male and female reproductive system. Fourth one, we have the nervous system. Nervous system, again, is divided into two. We have the central nervous system that includes the brain and the spinal cord. And the second division of the nervous system is we have the peripheral nervous system that includes the nerve or the nerve cells. And the fifth one is about the skeletal system or the bones. In our body, there are 206 bones in a total. And we know that the bones functions as to the framework of the body and also for the support and protection for the other organs. Now let's proceed with the last five organ systems in our body. We have the digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, excretory or urinary system, and the last one we have the muscular system. Now, let's start with the first one. We have here the digestive system. Now, from the word digestion, so simply this system or organ system focuses on how the food are being digested in our body and then transferred it into an energy needed by the body. Now, this digestive system consists of several main organs that includes the mouth, esophagus, stomach, and small and large intestines that form a long tube called the gastrointestinal tract. And this digestive system also includes accessory organs or organs that helps or assist in digestion, such as the pancreas and the liver, that produce enzymes. When we talk about enzymes, these are special types of proteins which speeds up or ginapadali nila ang reactions, and other substances needed for digestion but through which food does not actually pass. Now let us explore the parts or the organs of the digestive system. So again, when we eat food, it will enter first in our mouth, and then within our mouth we have our teeth, that our teeth cut, grind those foods, especially those solid one. So iyahang ipagamay ang mga food nga ato ang ginakaon, and with the help of the saliva, iyahang ginasoften or iyahang ginapahumok ang food. And then also the tongue pushes the food towards the esophagus. So ang tongue nato iyahang gina-push ang food. And also take note, the tongue enables us to identify or to taste the food. And then after, it will go to the esophagus. Esophagus, mo na siya ang tube, a long tube where peristalsis happens. Peristalsis meaning the wave-like movement of the food. So paggikan sa mouth, moadto siya sa esophagus, so moagi siya sa esophagus into a wave-like movement until ma-push through dito siya sa stomach. And then in the stomach, na ay mga enzymes diha, or in the stomach, it is the most acidic part of the body accordingly, wherein acidic siya because it will digest or break down the food that we eat. Chemical digestion happens, and then after the stomach, again, there are accessory organs. We have the liver, which ang liver mag-secrete na siya og bile, which helps the digestion of the fats. And then we have the pancreas, which also secretes mga juices, helps para ma-digest good ang pagkaon nga to ang gikaon. And then after that, the food will proceed to the small intestine. So in the small intestine, it will be further digested or break down into nutrients, and then those nutrients will be absorbed by the blood vessels nga naka-attach sa ato ang small intestine, in which para ang nutrients mo padulong sa ato ang different parts of the body. But what will happen to those undigested or wala na totally na digest? So they will be absorbed by the large intestine, and then in the large intestine, when those undigested food or water accumulated or matipok sila, and then that is the time that you will feel that you can go to the CR, because the undigested food becomes feces, and then it will go to the rectum and then exit into the anus. So that is how the digestive system works. So again, it is for the digestion of food. So from the mouth, and then it will be excreted to the body in a form of a waste into the anus. Next, after the digestive system, let's proceed with the respiratory system. So from the word respiration, so how the exchange of gases from our body to our environment happens. So organs and other structures of the respiratory system includes the nasal passages, or the part of our nose, the lungs, and we have the long tube, trachea, which carries air between the nasal passages and into the lungs. And the main function of the respiratory system is to deliver oxygen to the blood and remove carbon dioxide from the body. So take note that in order for us to breathe or to survive, we inhale oxygen, or we take in oxygen from the environment, which is provided by the plants, right? So when we inhale the oxygen, we exhale the carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is considered as a waste in our body, mo na siya nga ato ang ginapagawas. Wherein, on the part of the plants, they needed the carbon dioxide for them to undergo photosynthesis. So this organ system, the respiratory system, iyahang focus is how the exchange of the oxygen and carbon dioxide happens. So let us explore what are the organs or the parts of the system responsible for that function. So we have again here the nasal cavity or the nasal passages. So from our sa nose nato, dira mag-enter ang air. And then after, it will enter into the air. So sa ato ang nose, take note ang ato ang nose na ay mga hairs diha or buhok. Ang purpose of the hair is iyahang gina-filter or iyahang gina-warm ang air nga moagi sa ato ang nose. And then after, it will proceed into the pharynx, and then after into the the pharynx, we have the larynx. The larynx is we have that is known as the sound box of our body because that is the part where vibration of the sound happens. So para makaproduce taog sound. And then after it will goes through the trachea, which is a long tube. So take note in the digestive system, there is also a tube where makaagi ang food and that is the esophagus. So our body, duha ang iyahang tube or passageway. So different ang passageway or agianan sa food which is through the esophagus, right? And if naman we inhale and we exhale, the passageway of the gas will be the trachea. So lahi ang sa food, lahi pod ang sa air. Now since we are talking about respiratory system, the air will pass into the trachea. So after into the trachea, it will then goes to the bronchioles or the bronchi rather. Bronchi because it is the big one first, which is connected again to the lungs. And then kaning si bronchi after nag-branch out na siya into smaller parts which is what we called the bronchioles. So kanang bronchioles inside the lungs na siya. And then we have the right and the left lung. And take note again in the lungs divided na sila into lobe. So for the right lung, it is divided into two lobes, right? And for the left lung, it is divided into three lobes. Now the question is, why is it that the left lung consists of three lobes than that of the right lung that is only two? The reason why is that, take note, ang position of our heart is not totally or not strictly nga naa sa center gyud of our chest. So ang ato ang heart is tilted or pinahiwi siya to the left. That is why kumukuha ta og pulse or kon, we can feel the beat into the left side of our chest. So that is why ang ato ang left lung is divided into three lobe. Mas dako siya compared to the right lung because to protect or naamang gud diha naka-locate or nakabutang sa ibabaw niya ang atoang heart. Now, again, in the lungs, we have the bronchioles. So, dito dayon ni proceed ang gas or the air. And at the end of the bronchioles, natay gitawag og alveoli. So, ang alveoli, mura sila og air sacs or mga grape-like nga wherein dira mahitabo gyud ang exchange of the oxygen and carbon dioxide. So inside the lungs nato naa diha ang mga red blood cells because naa may mga blood vessels. So moadto diha ang mga red blood cells wherein ang red blood cells wala pa sila'y oxygen. So when they enter into the lungs, they will absorb the oxygen molecules. Ilahang i-absorb ang mga oxygen molecule nga gikan sa tuang gi-inhale. So pag-absorb nila, they will be oxygenated. So mahimo silang turns into red, meaning nakuha nilang ang oxygen. In return, in exchange, ang mapagawas dayon is the carbon dioxide. So kato dayong ilahang gikuha nga oxygen will be distributed to the different parts of the body. And below the sa tuang lungs, natay muscles diha, which is the diaphragm that contracts when we inhale and exhale. Mo-contract and then mo-rest dayon siya when we inhale and exhale. So that is the purpose of the parts or the functions of the parts of the respiratory system. So take note again, the respiratory system is for the exchange of gases, the oxygen as we inhale oxygen, and we have the carbon dioxide as we exhale the carbon dioxide. Next, down to the circulatory system. So from the word circulate, so the function of the circulatory system mainly is for transport. So this circulatory system includes the heart, blood, and the blood vessels such as the arteries, veins, and the capillaries. And we have the heart pumps blood which travels through the blood vessels. So that is mainly the flow. So ang heart magpump siya og blood wherein the blood will travels or matransport ang blood through the blood vessels. So blood vessels mula sila og vehicles or passageway of the blood so that the blood can be transported to the different parts of the body. Now this also again circulatory system equalizes body temperature and transports endocrine hormones. Take note, we have already discussed what are those endocrine glands that secretes hormones to cells and in the body where they are needed. Now, for the parts of the circulatory system, again, it composes mainly of the heart, right? We also have the blood and the blood vessels. So the heart is mainly a mostly muscular organ ang heart, which is divided siya into 4 chambers. So naa siya left atrium, left ventricle, and also we have the right atrium, and then we have the right ventricle. So these 4 chambers is divided by a septum. Septum serve as a wall that divides the heart so that dili magmix ang blood nga wala pay oxygen og ang blood nga naanay oxygen, or the blood that goes to the different parts of the heart, or those blood nga mopasulod pa sa heart. And then ang heart also is naa siya mga valve serve as the openings, or sila ang mo prevent the backflow of the blood. So sila ang mo open ug mo close for the entrance of the blood or the flow of the blood towards the heart or away from the heart. And then ang heart pod is naa siya mga tube also kung asa siya mo agi. And then the heart also consists of the blood vessels, wherein these blood vessels are located in the different parts of our body. So we have 3 blood vessels. We have the arteries, we have the veins, and we have the heart. And the capillaries rather. So the arteries mo na siya ang mokuha sa oxygenated nga blood, or it will takes the oxygen rich blood away from your heart. So siya ang modawat sa blood or dugo nga naanay oxygen, which is gikan ang oxygen from the lungs. And then pag naanay oxygen, the arteries will serve as the passageway or mo transport sa blood nga nay oxygen to the different parts of the blood or away from the heart, iyahang kuan pagawas sa heart. But the veins on the other hand, mo na siya ang mukuha og blood towards the heart. So padulong siya sa heart, iyahang direction kay wala pa man siya oxygen, so padulong siya sa heart. So ang mo transport ana is through the veins. Dito sila maagi sa veins. Pag naanay oxygen pagawa sa heart, that is through the arteries. And the small blood vessels is we have the capillaries. The capillaries, they're ang exchange of the blood or the veins and the arteries. And then the blood nato mainly consists of the red blood cells, the white blood cells, and we have the platelets. For the red blood cells, mo na siya ang mukuha og oxygen molecules, and then we have the white blood cells, mo na siya ang serve as the soldiers or the defenders in our blood. Kay sila ang mo kuan og mga antibodies para mo defend sa mga, for example, invaders of our body. And then we have the platelets. The platelets serve as the sila ang mo prevent from the overflowing of the blood when we have a wound or na injured ta. So ang platelets mo na sila ang produce para ilahang stop ang flow of the blood. And then next to the excretory system. So this excretory system, or it is known also as the urinary system. So from the word excretory or excrete, meaning magpagawas. So kaning excretory or urinary system includes the pair of kidneys, the ureters, the urinary bladder, and we have the urethra. So these kidneys also produce an enzyme called renin and a variety of hormones needed for a specific functions in the body. These substances help regulate blood pressure, katong renin og hormones, the production of red blood cells, and the balance of calcium and phosphorus in the body. So mainly, the function of this excretory system is that para mapagawas tong mga hugaw or waste in our body. So in the digestive system, we know already that the undigested food will become waste and it will be excreted. So that is in solid form. And we also know that in the integumentary system, the skin with the sweat gland excretes sweat or magproduce og sweat as a waste. And also for the respiratory system, it excretes the carbon dioxide or a gas. But with the excretory system, mainly a fluid or a liquid waste in the form of urine. So let us explore what are those parts of the excretory system. So mainly the organ for the excretory system, we have the kidneys because we have the right and the left kidney. We have the long tube that is what we called as the ureters and connected to the urinary bladder. And then we have the urethra. So these kidneys, naa siya functioning units or filtering units nga gitawag nato og nephrons. So each of the sulod sa kidney na ay millions of nephrons which filters or ilahang ginasala from our body. And then after it will be filtered, ang nutrients or needed by the body mobalik dito through the arteries and the veins or the renal artery and the renal vein, but those nga consider as toxic or waste, they will be transported to the urinary bladder through the ureter. So dito moagi sa ureter. And then sa urinary bladder, that is a temporary storage for the waste or the urine. So dira mapundo ang waste or the ihi, and then until such time that pag mapuno na siya, you can feel that you can go to the CR again and kanang kahion ka, and then the urine will pass into the urethra. So that is the time that the waste will be excreted into your body. So again, we have the kidneys nga iyahang salaon or filter with the help of iyahang functioning units nga gitawag na to og nephrons. And after it will be filtered, it will move through the tube or the ureters towards the urinary bladder, or the urinary bladder serve as the temporary storage for the urine or the waste, or mo na siya ang pantog. And then after, pag mapuno na siya, that is the time that it will pass through the urethra, and then it will be excreted outside in our body. So that is the function of the excretory system. And lastly, we have the muscular system. So muscular system, as we discussed about the skeletal system, they serve as a partner in terms of movement and protection of the body. So this muscular system consists mainly of three types of muscles, such as the skeletal muscles, smooth muscles, and we have the cardiac muscles. And again, their function is to permit movement of the body with the skeletal system, maintains posture, because again, imagine if we only have the bones or the skeletal systems and then walay muscles. So dili ta ka move, or dili ta flexible, and then our posture will not be that definite. And then this muscular system also circulates blood through the body because naka-attach again ang mga blood vessels, or those blood vessels that needed for the transport of the blood towards the different parts of the body. And the muscular system consists of, again, those three types, wherein in a total we have 600 muscles in our body. As to the skeleton, again, we have 206 bones. So ang ato ang muscles mas daghan-daghan siya. So I will just describe the three types of muscles. So let's start with the cardiac muscles. So this cardiac muscle, mainly the muscles inside our heart, or the heart nato. As I mentioned a while ago in the circulatory system, that the heart is mostly a muscular organ. So ang muscles niya is what we called as a cardiac type of muscle. So it is involuntary. Involuntary in a way that you cannot able to control the or move the muscles. So for example, you cannot say that ayaw sa pag-beat or pag-stop sa og beat muscles, or sa imuhang heart ayaw sa og pag-move. So you cannot control that. That is why it is involuntary. And then we have the skeletal muscles. So kaning skeletal muscles, those muscles nga naka-attach sa ato ang mga bones. So this time, kaning skeletal muscles, they are voluntary. Voluntary in action in a way that we can able to control or move our, for example, ato ang hands, wherein ang muscles nga naka-attach sa ato ang hands are what we called as skeletal muscles. And then the last one, we have the smooth muscle cell. So kani siya mainly those muscles attached to our other organs, for example, our stomach and other organs in our body. So this time, kaning smooth muscles, involuntary po siya. We cannot control it. So again, cardiac muscles and smooth muscles are involuntary. We cannot control them. And then we have the skeletal muscles that is voluntary, because it is the muscles that attach to our skeleton or to our bones. So that is for the function of the muscular system, for movement, for posture, for protection. And I think I have already described or briefly describe the organ systems, the last five organ systems. Again, we have the digestive system for digestion of the food, and then we have the respiratory system for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide in our body. We have the circulatory system, how the blood is being circulated or transferred or delivered into the different parts of the body. We have the excretory system, how the waste is, is being excreted in our body. And then lastly, again, the muscular system or the muscles that serve as a protection, support, and purpose or framework or posture of the body. So again, take note that if we talk about organ systems, it is a system or group of organs that are interrelated in terms of functions. So for clarifications or questions, again, you can message me through my messenger if naay mga clarifications or questions. And again, this last five organ systems, I already give you also a link to the videos that you can watch in the YouTube for a detailed discussion of this organ system, because this lecture is just a summary of those organ systems. So thank you and God bless. Once again, good day to everyone.